Hello and welcome. My name is Bechi. I am a mom of two, a wife, and also an infant and adult sleep consultant. I am here because I want to guide you and help you understand what it is that is happening right now with your baby's sleep and what you need to do in order to incorporate healthy sleep habits. I myself encounter many difficulties with my first child's sleep, so that's the reason why I decided to investigate, study, and certify myself in order to help my own children and also help many families around the world establish healthy sleep habits. So I really hope you enjoy this class because we are going to talk about the different aspects that are going to help your baby get better naps and also better routines, and this is going to also get you to get better full night's sleep. So welcome and enjoy. Now let's talk about some of the different benefits of healthy sleep habits. So one, it's fundamental for learning because when your baby's sleeping, your baby is incorporating everything that he's learning throughout the day. A good sleep prevents obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. So also thinking about the future, if it's something that we can prevent from now, we are definitely going to do so. A good sleep gets your baby to be more calm throughout the day. Your baby's not going to be crying, maybe grumpy, because your baby's going to be rested. He's going to get the sleep that he needs during the day and also during the night. Sleep improves and maintains brain connections. When your baby's sleeping, your baby's making a bunch of brain connections that are fundamental for your baby's growth and development. Also, the growth hormone is released in greater quantities when your baby's sleeping. Once your baby gets the rest that he needs during the day and also during the night, because we're going to talk about both of these, they're both important, your baby is going to be psychologically more prepared to have communication, social skills, because your baby is going to be rested. So definitely sleep is not an option. It's completely okay for your newborn to have micro awakenings, to ask for a feed, to wake up for a diaper change. But once your baby gets older and starts to grow, we're going to understand that there's a routine that's necessary. There's some schedules that your baby needs throughout the day. And also I'm going to teach you how to help your baby fall asleep in order to get a full night of sleep. Here are some fun facts about child sleep. So one, it starts in the womb. Since the moment our babies are in their stomach, they're spending about 16 to 20 hours of sleep. That's practically the entire day. Once they're born, if you have a baby that's a little bit older, if you recall when your baby was a newborn, newborns really sleep a lot. They wake up, have a feed, maybe change a diaper, go back to sleep. Go back, wake up, go back to sleep, and they're gonna do this throughout the day and throughout the night. It's completely normal for your newborn to sleep a lot and also have a bunch of micro awakenings. After 12 weeks of life, sleep can definitely now be consolidated, which basically means that your baby can now have more predictable schedules. Your baby has now a routine established at bedtime, and there's more sleep at night as the weeks go by. So your baby's going to sleep 4 hours, 5, 6, 7, until eventually your baby's going to sleep through the night. A baby that is 6 months and older, that is healthy, that has the right height and weight, if we have your doctors okay, that's a baby that can definitely sleep through the night. If your baby is not sleeping through the night, it's because something's happening that is not letting your baby do so. And here again, we're going to learn what it is that's happening that is not letting my baby sleep through the night. Remember, every family is completely different. Every family has a need, a certain way of doing things, and that's okay, and I completely respect that. And also, every baby has certain needs. So we're going to observe our child to see what it is that he needs, what it is that's happening in order to establish healthy sleep habits. Before we talk about the different components of how to achieve healthy sleep habits, I want you to understand what it is that's happening when your baby's sleeping. Because once you understand this, it becomes really beautiful to know not just what's happening, but to understand our baby and to know what it is that we need to do in order to help our baby sleep better. So all human beings, our children, as adults, all of us, when we sleep, we go through different stages of sleep. We go through some stages that are very light and superficial, but we also go through stages of sleep that are more deep and profound. When our children, when all of us are sleeping and we go through a very light stage of sleep, it's very easy for us to have a micro awakening to wake up. But when we're in a very deep stage of sleep, it's very deep, so it's very hard for us to wake up. Here in this deep sleep, we actually incorporate our memory is being strengthened. So why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you that we go through different stages of sleep? Some are very light, some are very deep. The reason why I'm telling you this is because it's completely natural for your baby to go through a very light stage of sleep. Remember, it's very superficial, and have a micro awakening. And if your baby does not know how to put himself back to sleep, then your baby's going to wake up and say, "Hi there, I need help. I don't know how to put myself back to sleep, so please come and help me." And sometimes they cry because that's the way that they communicate and let us know, "I'm awake, I need assistance, I need help." So ask yourself, how does my baby fall asleep now? How does my baby fall asleep for naps? How does my baby fall asleep at bedtime? How does my baby fall asleep in the middle of the night? Because this is what your baby knows. This is how your baby got used to falling asleep, and it's the habit that your baby has incorporated. Again, if you have a newborn, it's a little bit different because your baby hasn't learned yet. So this is the perfect moment to start with a newborn, because here your baby, has an empty sheet of, nothing written there yet. So there you're going to teach your baby to fall asleep independently in his crib. If you have a baby that has already learned a certain way of falling asleep, we're going to help your baby learn how to fall asleep independently in his crib, in his bed. So once he has that micro awakening, which remember is completely natural, he's going to know how to put himself back to sleep without asking for assistance. Now let's talk about the different components of healthy sleep habits. In order for your baby to sleep well, we need to take into consideration 4 aspects, 4 components of healthy sleep habits. We're going to talk about each of these. So there are schedules during the day, accurate schedules, routines. In this case, we're going to talk about the bedtime routine, naps, because naps are fundamental, and also the way that your baby falls asleep. So these 4 components are important. I can't just tell you, you need a really good bedtime routine in order for your baby to have better sleep. No, it doesn't work like that. These 4 components are essential, and they need to be working together in order to achieve healthy sleep habits. If, for example, you have a really good bedtime routine, but your baby didn't take naps during the day, then your baby's going to be crying in that bedtime routine. So here we can see how naps and the bedtime routine need to be working together in order for your baby to be more calm at bedtime, so you can transition in a calm way. So we're going to talk about each of these components. Ask yourselves, what's happening in each of these components in order to help my baby sleep better? The first component of healthy sleep habits is appropriate schedules. So your baby needs appropriate schedules during the day in order to make transitions in a calm way. So in the morning, if you have a newborn, your baby's going to wake up usually around 7, 8 in the morning. If your baby's older than 4 months, your baby's going to start his day usually around 6, 7 in the morning. This is also going to depend on the culture and country that you're at. If you feel like you need to, move this a little bit, then go ahead and do so. Just make sure that your baby's getting the rest that he needs during the day and also the rest that he needs during the night. According to the National Sleep Foundation, our children need approximately 11 hours of sleep at night. Again, if you have a newborn, your baby's going to have fragmented sleep, which means your baby's going to wake up, have a micro awakening, maybe get a feed, a diaper change, go back to sleep, wake up, go back to sleep. But if your baby's ready to fall asleep at bedtime and sleep through the night, then your baby should be getting approximately 11 hours of sleep. So count the time that your baby falls asleep and what time he wakes up in order to see if your baby's getting those hours. If your baby's sleeping less than 10 hours, and really that's not enough, something's happening that's not letting your baby get the sleep that he needs at night. I'm going to give you a very beautiful recommendation in order to establish really nice routines and schedules during the day. So what we know as an awake window is really the key to establish nice schedules during the day. So your baby has an awake window. It's the time that your baby should be awake during the day according to your baby's age. So for example, a newborn shouldn't be awake longer than 45 minutes to an hour during the day so he doesn't get overtired for his nap or for bedtime. So go ahead and research, and also if you want me to send you the information specifically, what your baby's awake window should look like, go ahead and message me and I'll give you that information. But just make sure that you know your baby's awake window by age, and don't pass this awake window. If your baby shouldn't be awake, for example, longer than 2 hours during the day, and your baby has been scratching his eyes for 2 hours and 15 minutes, then your baby's going to be really irritated and grumpy and crying for that nap. So try to anticipate yourself and get your baby to transition for that nap in a calm way. And you're going to do so, but make sure you know what your baby's awake window looks like during the day. Overtiredness does not help us. So if your baby's tired, get your baby to sleep. Always anticipate yourself. It's not true that the more tired baby gets to bedtime or the more tired baby gets to a nap, the better he's going to sleep. It really works the opposite. If your baby's too tired, your baby's going to have a hard time transitioning and most likely actually have more night awakenings that night. The second component of healthy sleep habits is the bedtime routine. I in particular love the bedtime routine with both of my children. I feel like it's a moment where I connect with them. It's those last 20 minutes of the day where I say goodbye, give thanks. So from the beginning of life, establish a very nice, really beautiful bedtime routine so your baby's brain has time to prepare for sleep. Your baby's brain is going to receive signals that is going to tell him it's time to sleep. It's time to go to bed. We're having a very nice, relaxing environment. That way you're going to be able to prepare your baby. And also, again, we've talked about calm transitions. Have a calm transition into bedtime. I'm going to give you a couple activities that you can include in your bedtime routine. You can start with a bath or a massage. These two are usually different from everything else that happens during the day. Then you can put on your baby's pajama, have a diaper change, have a feed, because some of you still have a feed in that routine. Make sure that your baby does not fall asleep in the feed. This is really important. You're going to sing a song, say a prayer, or maybe read a book. Say some keywords like night night, it's time to sleep, it's time to go to bed, and we're going to have our baby awake at the end of the routine. So this is very important. The routine has the goal to help your baby relax, but you don't want your baby to fall asleep in the routine, because we're going to do that later in the next component that we're going to talk about. So the goal of the routine is to relax your baby, have a very warm, usually yellow and red are very warm colors. So have a lamp, something that's very relaxing. If you want relaxing music, go ahead and have some there. Make this routine very enjoyable for your baby, also for you, but don't let your baby fall asleep in the bedtime routine. The third component of healthy sleep habits are naps. So as I mentioned earlier, naps are fundamental during the day. They really help your baby transition calmly, and you're going to get better night sleep if your baby takes the naps that he needs. So how do I get my baby to nap during the day? So the first thing here, we connect to the first component, which are schedules. Understand, according to your baby's age, how many naps your baby should be taking during the day and what your baby's awake window looks like. When it's time to take a nap, go into your baby's room, wherever his crib is, that's where your baby should be taking that nap. So if he's sleeping in a room, in that crib, if your baby's already transitioned to his own room, then your baby should be napping there. You're going to make that room really dark. I'm a fan of darkness because it really helps our children rest better for naps. So bring down your curtains, make that room really, really dark, and you're going to do a small routine for each of your baby's naps. And it's very short. It's going to take you 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So you can, give your baby a short massage or read a book, sing a song, and now you're going to finish the routine and put your baby in his crib. So remember, make that room also very relaxing. Put down the curtains, black out, help your baby know that it's time to sleep, prepare it to sleep with a small routine. If your baby does take a short nap, this usually happens, once in a while. Let's say your baby takes a nap that is 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I would consider this a short nap. So anything that's less than 45 minutes, consider that a short nap. And once you hear that your baby wakes up from the short nap, go and help your baby go back to sleep. So you can rock your baby, do whatever it takes in order to connect one stage of sleep with the other and get your baby to make that short nap a little bit longer. The fourth component of healthy sleep habits is independent sleep. This component is usually the hardest because it's easy for us from the beginning of life to introduce activities or objects that help our babies fall asleep. So the goal here is to teach your baby to become an independent sleeper. And this way, as I mentioned when we talked about the different stages of sleep, your baby is going to have a micro awakening, know how to put himself back to sleep. And if he's not hungry, if there's no diaper change that needs to be done there, if your baby's not hot, cold, if everything's okay for your baby, then your baby's going to know how to close his eyes and put himself back to sleep. So I want you to teach your baby to fall asleep independently. Ask yourselves right now what it is that I'm doing now in order for my baby to fall asleep. Am I rocking to sleep? Am I using the pacifier to sleep? Am I feeding to sleep, either breastfeeding or bottle feeding? What is it that I'm doing right now exclusively in order for my baby to fall asleep? Because if your baby once in a while falls asleep rocking or feeding, really that's okay, and that's actually nice. We like that. But it cannot become the only way that your baby falls asleep. The big goal is to put your baby in his crib away, conscious of what's happening, and have your baby close his eyes inside his crib, and that's how your baby's going to fall asleep. That might sound a little bit hard for you if your baby has already developed some sort of strategy to falling asleep, if your baby's always rocking to sleep, using some sort of bouncing ball. I have families use the bouncing ball or the hammock, or always feeding to sleep. It might sound a little bit hard for you to do this, but it's possible. If you're very consistent and you teach your baby every day to fall asleep in his crib, your baby's going to do so. So how do you do that? Once you finish the routine, you have your baby in your arms, you're going to make sure that your baby's awake. Your baby's going to be tired because you did a really nice, beautiful routine, but your baby's not going to fall asleep in your arms, rocking in the routine, and the feed. Your baby is going to transition into his crib, into his bed, awake, and you're going to help him and be by his side. This is really important. In our work, we really understand that the best way to do this is by being next to your baby, and it's possible to reach this goal when you're next to your baby. You don't have to leave, walk out the room, let your baby cry in the crib. We're not going to do it that way. There might be some crying involved because your baby's changing a habit that he hasn't, known yet, and he's changing something that he already learned. So if you need to be there next to your baby and carry your baby, you're going to do so. You're going to talk to your baby, hold his hand, pat his shoulder, carry him again, but always put your baby back in his crib. That's really the key here. If you feel like you need help establishing any of these components, please let me know. I work with families one-on-one in order to establish healthy sleep habits to get the baby to sleep better during the day and also during the night. So thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you have learned with me and that you have understood what is happening right now that's not helping your baby, and also what you need to do in order to transition and establish healthy sleep habits. And healthy sleep habits, not just for children, not just for our babies, because parents, mom, dad, we also need to get the sleep that we need, and it's okay for us to ask for help. So if you need guide and you need help and you want me to be there with you step by step throughout this entire process, please let me know. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Bye bye.